We are live. We are live. Welcome to College Football's Peek Around the Corner with your host, Greg Pflugar. We cover everything in college football because we love everything in college football. And if you do as well, please subscribe to our channel. Smash the like button if you like our content. Share the video with your family and friends. And when you subscribe, make sure you ring that notification bell. If you want to support this national independent college football rebel outpost with a donation to help us keep the lights on and grow the channel, just hit that $sign where you make your comment and I'll get to you super chat as quick as I possibly can. Welcome everybody into the studio that sits on the corner, the very corner of Keith Jackson Parkway and Kurt Gowdy Avenue. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid to become a legend with your comments and with your phone calls. We got a lot of different things to talk about today. We're going to start off with finally the PATC Peek Around the Corner Big Ten quarterback rankings. We did the Big 12 last week. We did Tom Fornelli's Big Ten quarterback rankings a couple of days ago. I don't think it was yesterday. It might have been. I don't remember. But today, we are going to do PATC's Big Ten rankings. And they look a little different than Tom Fornelli. And I'm going to give you my reasons why I'm ranking these 18 potential projected starting quarterbacks to begin the 2026 season. I know we are a long ways away from the start of the season. but I'm already pumped. I'm already pumped. I'm getting jacked. The more and more we're going to look into these teams across the country, we are going to do our spotlight series on every Power 4 team during the off season. This is how we start. We do rankings of quarterbacks. Then we talk about the change of the head coaches and the coordinators. And then we start to go into our spotlight series. We do our order of finish prediction in every conference. We haven't done that yet. I'm letting it all percolate, letting it all marinate in our brains and see what comes out. Put down your comments. Let me know how wrong I got it once again when it comes to the Big Ten quarterback rankings. We're also going to be talking about Ari Wasserman put out an article today basically asking the question, why now? Why now? Why do we need the 2014 playoffs now? Basically giving up the fight. Ari Wasserman is saying, okay, all right, we're going to get a 2014 playoff sooner or later. But his question is, why now? I'm going to give the answer to why now. I'm going to give an answer to why now. Since this is the Army of 24, this is where it all originated. This is where it all started. I'm going to give Ari Wasserman and everybody else the answer. Why now? Why now? Why now? All right. And then, change in bowl season. Ross Dellinger early this morning puts out an article that the Power 4 conferences are working, potentially setting up a 10-game bowl season where the teams that do not make the playoffs, the 5 Big Ten, the 5 SEC, the 5 Big 12, the 5 ACC, you throw them in a hat, Not really. It looks like it ain't going to be that way. But those 20 teams would constitute this new 10-game bowl season. We're going to go through that. Very interesting indeed. And CFB Plus asks the question, why is the P4 working together on this when they are at odds elsewhere? Could this mean a P4 breakaway consolidation more likely than P2? Well, first of all, as I've said here over and over again, P2 breakaway definitely is not the chalk. It isn't. And Southeastern Conference going in their own silo is not the chalk. They're at the beginning. They're at the start of Silo Mountain. They've just started the climb. I don't think they're anywhere close to climbing that mountain. But they are drawing up plans. So, of course, in the meantime, you got to draw up other plans. One of the reasons why I'm very interested in this new bowl season, where it doesn't follow the traditional tie-ins, is that it binds us together. It binds us together. It does. If this was created, and again, I think we're a long ways away from that, but if this was created, it would be another hurdle for anybody to break away for the SEC silo. So I like that aspect of it. It binds us together, the 4 power conferences. I also like the concept in which the conferences are in control. The 4 conferences are in control. not some faceless bureaucratic government entity, not some smash capital private equity. The conferences are in control. Who plays who? What's the best matchups? Who gets the sponsor? Where is it going to be played? And all of that. I like that. So, again, this is a long ways away from happening because, again, we'll get into the article. But one of the big hurdles in this new 10 bowl game consortium among the 4 power conferences, one of the hurdles is we don't know what the college football playoffs are going to look like. I mean, this cannot get built. This cannot be official. Nobody can sign on the dotted line when it comes to the 10-game bowl consortium between the 4 power conferences until we know what the bloody playoffs look like. Because if it's a 2014 playoff right off the bat in 2027, then the interest of this 10-game consortium, there might not be a lot of interest. And who are the media partners that are going to be potential media partners that are going to be interested in bidding on these 10 bowl games among the 4 power conferences? All right, I want to thank everybody who's dropped on in. Edward the Auburn Tiger, War Eagle, Bruce Harris, Boomer Sooner, the Buckeye Caleb Ramirez, Preston from Greensboro, North Carolina, the Cornhusker. Where do I have Anthony Colandrea? Where do I have Colandrea rated in the Big Ten rankings? Am I doing him justice? CFB Plus is in the house. Jay Chapman is here. Rich Austin is here. The Mountaineer, the other Gygax, Daniel Gygax is in the house. VB Hokie. I don't know. There's a lot of love being spread on the Hokies. I don't know. I'm sure VB Hokie has noticed that, but you've got Tom Fernelli coming out there and saying, now, I did not say this, so Clemson Tiger fans, don't get upset with me. You got Tom Fernelli basically stating, Clemson, done. Done as a dominant program in the ACC. Tom Fernelli said, if you look at the future draft, to 2027 spring draft, there may be 2 Clemson Tigers in the top 100 players. This ain't the same Clemson program. And Tom Fernelli, he hinted, he winked, he insinuated that maybe, just maybe, the Virginia Tech Hokies are going to take that spot. They're going to take that spot. Tom Fernelli said, look, James Franklin, Penn State teams have been very, 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 very good. Not quite good enough in the Big Ten to win the whole thing, you know, to have the Big Ten leap into the national championship, win it all. But they would have been good enough. James Franklin, Penn State's teams would have been good enough to win the ACC. And that is what James Franklin is creating in Blacksburg. So, a lot of love being put on the Hokies in early, well, we're in March, very early spring. Amazing Blues in the house. Bob Swanger is here. Old Dad is in the house. Tom DeBate. Stephen Clark. Go Gophers. You got that right. You got that right. Rod is here. Stephen Vitt is here. 10-game bowl season, said no one ever. It would be more than a 10-game bowl season. But this would be a 10-game consortium. No bye ties into the conferences among the Power Four conferences. Michael Drake is in the house. Thanks for coming on in. I appreciate it. Let's get going. We've got a big program all set up today. Again, I'll take your comments, super chat, supersede everything. We'll take your phone calls later in the program. I cannot wait for the phone calls like always. Let's start off. College football, peek around the corner, Big Ten quarterback rankings for 2026. Peklinski, Iowa, number 18. Somebody's got to be 18. Somebody's got to be 18. And I think we know less of Jeremy Hecklinski than everybody else that's going to be on this list. Drake Lindsay was everybody's 18 last year. He did not perform as the 18th best Big Ten quarterback. Much better than that. And Jeremy Hecklinski is probably going to perform better than number 18. But I just could not get him out of that slot. Most people have got Hecklinski as number 18. Pretty much a complete unknown. Number 17, I've got Aiden Childs of Northwestern. Tom Fornelli had him, I believe, at 15 or 14. I was a fan of Childs as a freshman, but not after last year. I mean, he lost his starting job. Jonathan Smith was the head coach of Michigan State, who gave him all the opportunities in the world. Remember, Aiden Childs came from Oregon State, transferred over to Michigan State when Jonathan Smith took the job, and Jonathan Smith lost his job, and Aiden Childs, I saw enough. I'm not a believer. I am not a believer in Aiden Childs. Now, hopefully for the Northwestern fans, under Fitzgerald, maybe he can fulfill his potential. But I got him at number 17. Lonergan, Boston College transfer, Rutgers. I wasn't going to have him at number 15. I wasn't going to have him at number 14. He's probably going to have a better year than Aiden Childs. So number 16 is the spot. I am very fearful of the Rutgers season this year. I could be wrong. I could be Greg DeCula, but I think Rutgers is going to drop. I think Greg Schiano, not on a hot seat list, right? Not on our hot seat list. But I got a feeling Rutgers was in very big trouble. Big drop off at the quarterback position. Number 15, Ryan Brown, Purdue Boilermakers. What I saw last year was basically the opposite of what is written about him. Good arm, but maybe lacks other things, the intangibles. I thought he had the intangibles, but lacked the arm. When I watched him play, maybe he was injured. He got hit a lot. Purdue struggled. They did not win a conference game once again. They could have very well beaten Minnesota, but Ryan Brown threw a INT pick 6 late in the football game. I got to have Ryan Brown at number 15. Alessio Milivojevic, Milovojevic. Sometimes I get the name right. Most of the time I get the name wrong. Milovojevic, gutsy player. He showed up against the Gophers. Almost beat the Gophers last year. Basically single-handedly, in my opinion. Good player, gutsy player, Michigan State. Now, I said Fitzgerald at Northwestern. That's obviously wrong. I meant Fitzgerald at Michigan State. A new start, new head coach. Got him at number 14. Number 13, Colton Joseph, Wisconsin. A lot of people might be thinking, well, Greg, you have Wisconsin. You have Colton Joseph at number 13 because it's the Badgers. It's the evil Badgers. I don't think I did that. I think I really have Colton Joseph at number 13 because, look, good player at Old Dominion, was a turnover machine at Old Dominion. He's taken a big step up in the Big Ten. There's a lot of similarities between Anthony Colandrea and Colton Joseph. But Colandrea has played in Power 4 football with Virginia before he went out to UNLV. Colandrea had an outstanding season last year. The only reason I got him at number 12 is because I don't think he's going to last the season. I know that sounds brutal. That sounds painfully brutal coming from me. But the way he runs with the football, that ain't going to work in the Big Ten. That's my opinion. Let's see if he proves me wrong. If he can last the season. If he can reel and deal under Holgerson's offense. Maybe there's going to be some magic at Lincoln this year. Because Anthony Colandrea is somewhat of a magic maker out there. He makes plays, no question about it. Talented, gutsy, no question about it. I just don't think he's going to last the season. Rarely does a Nebraska quarterback last the season. They've been very unlucky. Also, Nebraska's had their running backs running way too much before Dylan Raiola showed up. And Anthony Colandrea, I think he's going to get knocked around pretty good. So we've got him at number 12. Number 11. Anthony Colandrea is again there. Number 11, Caton Hauser. Illinois. The Fighting Illini. Again, should I have him higher? Should I? Well, he hasn't done it in Big Ten play yet. Unlike, he hasn't done it in Power 4 program yet. He did it at East Carolina. So number 11, I think, is the fair spot to put Caton Hauser. Illinois is hoping he's a lot better than number 11, and maybe he will be. But I could not put him ahead of Nico Amaliva. I'm leaving on a jet plane. There was some moments last year. Now he did not have the season and success that he had at Tennessee 2 years ago. But Bobby Chesney, Nico 10 might be way too low. I see a lot of these quarterback rankings and they have Nico low. I'm talking 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm not buying that at all. Number 10. Number 9, Drake Lindsey. Do I have him higher than others? Sure. Is that because I love to spread Golden Gopher propaganda? Possibly. But I know this about Drake Lindsey. Tom Fornelli described Drake Lindsey in a steak and potato offense where all he had to do is turn around and hand the ball off. That is completely incorrect. The Gophers have not had a steak and potato offense for the last 2 years. In other words, their offensive line has not been good. The running game last year was absolutely brutal. Drake Lindsey, the Gophers lived on his arm. Last drive touchdowns, won 3 Big Ten games, engineered by the passing of Drake Lindsey. Drake Lindsey threw 18 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 63% completion percentage as a freshman with no running game, below average offensive line, and well below average wide receiving group. So there is no way in God's green earth that I'm going to have Drake Lindsey in the bottom half of the Big Ten. I'm going to have Drake Lindsey ahead of guys who have not competed at this level. Drake Lindsey, number 9, but I could not put him ahead of Malik Washington. I'm higher on Malik Washington than pretty much everybody else outside of Maryland, Terrapin country. I thought Malik Washington was pretty damn good last year. If he would have went in the portal, same thing with Drake Lindsey. They would have been picked up and they would have been hailed as a great pickup. But Malik Washington stayed at Maryland. Number 8. Number 7, Rocco Becht. I do-si-doed Bryce Underwood and Rocco Becht. I do-si-doed. Rocco Becht, I had him at 6. I had him at 7. I had him at 6. I ended up at number 7. Been a really good quarterback at Iowa State. He's comfortable with Matt Campbell. Is he going to have a better year than Bryce Underwood? Bryce Underwood is the absolute wild card of all these quarterbacks. Rocco Becht is going to have a pretty good year next year, I think, at Penn State. I do not think Penn State is going to make the playoff next year. I don't think they're going to be in the top 4 of the Big Ten. But I think Rocco Becht is going to do his part. Bryce Underwood has a much higher ceiling. And even last year, as a true freshman, at times he excelled. This is my problem with Bryce Underwood. He's a freshman quarterback. He did not have a lot for him to work with. We talked about that at the beginning of the season last year. We talked about it during the season. Michigan did not acquire enough weapons for Bryce Underwood. And now the head coach is gone. New coach, new system, new everything again for sophomore Bryce Underwood. And maybe because of the change, he's going to hit his ceiling. He's going to be incredible this season. But again, it's another change for the sophomore quarterback. Rocco Becht, he's changing schools, and he's going to be more comfortable under Matt Campbell than Bryce Underwood's going to be under Winningham, at least at the beginning of the season. Number 5, Demond Williams. He was good last year. He was really good last year. Now, what's going to be happening at Washington? Is the chemistry, the locker room, is everything going to be okay? We're going to find out early. Washington's first Big Ten game is at home against my beloved Golden Gophers. We're going to find out number 5 quarterback in the Big Ten versus number 9 quarterback in the Big Ten. Demond Williams had an excellent season last year. Could he be the top 4 Big Ten quarterback? Well, This is the top 4 quarterbacks that I have. Maeva, he's a little loosey-goosey in the passing game, but he's going to have a lot of great weapons. He's going to have a great running game with them. And Maeva, he knows he's getting better at knowing when to take off, and when he takes off, that dude is a thoroughbred. Made a lot of big plays last year. A little loosey-goosey. If he can tighten it up. If he can tighten up. USC. I got USC in the playoff, guys. I got USC in the playoffs. They're going to be in my playoff prediction. My way too early playoff prediction. USC, Indiana, Oregon, Ohio State. Maeva, I think, is going to have a great year. I think Josh Hoover is going to have a spectacular year at Indiana. I cannot wait to do the Spot Losers for 2026. Last year's Spotlight Series, if you go back and watch it, we talked about Indiana. I declared from the mountaintops, I screamed it out loud, this Indiana team is more talented than the year before when they shocked the world and they made it to the playoffs. This Indiana Hoosier team is going to be incredibly talented. They're not going to have that star linebacker. There's elements to it, of course. Mendoza to Hoover. Josh Hoover can play. Highly skilled quarterback. That Kirk Cinetti, he knows. He knows it, right? Josh Hoover's going to have to tamp down the interceptions. But I got Josh Hoover at number 3. Tom Fornelli had Josh Hoover at number 4. I've got Dante Moore at number 2. Fornelli had Dante Moore at number 1. It's going to be another great year for the Oregon Ducks. They're going to be dominant. This dude is going to play at a very high level. He's going to be at New York City in the Heisman room, along with number 1, Julian Sayin. It's probably going to come down to health, between Sayin and Moore, but I think these two guys are the best in the Big Ten and the best in the nation. I think these two guys are the very best in the country. At this point, I don't see Arch Manning at the same level. At this point, I don't see Gunnar Stockton at the same level. At this point, I don't even see Superman Bear Bachmeier at this level. I think Sam Levitt is really close to this level. But Dante Moore and Julian Sayin, I think, are the two best quarterbacks in the nation. So that is PATC's Big Ten quarterback rankings early in March. We'll go through it again real quick. Hecklinski, Iowa, Northwestern, Rutgers, Purdue, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Illinois, UCLA, the Gophers, Maryland, Penn State, Michigan, Demond Williams, Washington, Maeva, Hoover, Moore, and Sayin. Those are the PATC quarterback rankings. Let me know how wrong I got it once again for the quarterback rankings. Okay. I really enjoyed this article. I skipped the start of it, but Ari Wasserman on 3. The stone cold truth. college football lucked into this 12-team college football playoff functionality. It would be insanely dumb to change it right now. It's too soon. And I hear a lot of that in the PATC family. Even if you like the idea of a 16-team playoff or 24, you want the 12-team playoff to stick around a little bit longer. There's a problem with that. There's a couple problems with that. And I'm going to talk about it at the end of this article. We're not going to go through the whole thing. Ari Wasserman talks about how let's go back to 5 years when they first revealed the 12-team CFP plan. At that time, there were still 5 power conferences, but we really hadn't really delved deeply into the transfer portal or the NIL realm. When the decision was to expand was made, it seemed like the wrong move. I loved the move. I celebrated the move. It seems to be that everybody that was against the expansion from 4 to 12 and told us we were crazy, same people are telling us going to 24 is crazy. Wasserman talks about the diminishing importance of regular season games if the CFP expands. All that was hogwash. It felt like participation trophy-ish. People were wrong. But then the change Hypo is referring to took hold. It stole power from the juggernauts, made it much harder to accumulate and retain talent. The NIL, the transfer portal, and the expansion of the college football all worked hand in hand and introduced parity to a sport that had never really had it before. Programs like Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State were no longer able to keep future first-round picks on their benches, which diminished their immortality while raising their competitors' abilities. When the CFP expanded to 12, I hated it. Now it's perfect. No, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. It was for a glancing moment. The reason why 12 works so much, and this is what I think a lot of people are not quite getting, is the reason why the 12-team playoff works so much better than the 4-team playoff is that the world has completely changed. Players are getting paid. Players are going to get paid. You have more parity because of NIL, transfer portal, and the expanded playoffs. People want to play in the playoffs. People want to play, period. You don't know who the 4 best teams are. A 4-team playoff is absurd. That is truly absurd. Not the 24-team playoff, Reese Davis. The 4-team is absolutely obsolete. The 12-team, same. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I love talking about the expanded playoffs. I love talking about who was on the bubble. I love the fact that a team had a loss. It did not push them out of the playoffs. I love the fact that if a team had 2 losses, it did not push them out of the playoffs. Ari Wasserman, by pure chance, not skill, intelligence, concern for the fan, or even foresight, college football leaders unintentionally stumbled upon the perfect system. So what's the next move? Of course, they feel like they have to change it again. No, stop it. Yes, do it. Expand this again. Why? Because the 12-team playoffs is obsolete. I've got no problem with the 12-team playoff in 2026 because I think it's going to pile on more evidence, more and more evidence that the 12-team playoff is obsolete. There were teams last year that should have been in the playoffs, because we really did not know where they lined up among the best 12, the best 16, the best 18, the best 20 teams. Miami barely got in. They were fortunate to get in. And there definitely was a playoff team. 12 team ain't big enough. It just is not big enough in this world of college football. In this world, not the world that existed 3, 4, 5 years ago. This world, 12 is not big enough. 16 might be, it might be, but probably not. Most likely it's not. And the 24 number works so much better than the number 16. Wasserman, it's completely understandable that the Big Ten Commissioner Tony Petitti supports this expansion. He's an American sports executive who recognizes the value of a 2014 CFP from a television revenue perspective. His role is to look out for the Big Ten and, of course, to generate as much money as possible for the conference and its member institutions. But how much money the Big Ten and the SEC generate isn't our concern. We are consumers of the sport, absolutely. What's actually best for college football? Absolutely. The answer, a meaningful regular season where wins and losses matter. An entertaining and useful postseason tournament that invite teams that are capable of winning a national title. Watering down any of that is counterproductive. I don't think a 2014 playoff makes regular season games meaningless. I think more of them become meaningful. To try to get a first round home game to end up as a 9 to 16th seed, that's a big, bad incentive, baby. To get a home game on campus, if you can get that 15th seed, all those games are meaningful, Jack. All of them. And if you're looking to get into the top 24, those games, we're going to have a bubble. We're going to have a bubble to argue over. It ain't going to be 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's going to be 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. We're still going to have a bubble. But we've got incentives layered into the 2014 playoff that I don't think people are quite understanding yet. And the economics of it is massive. To get that 16th seed, to get that 15th seed, to get that 14th seed. And then you got a whole another level of incentives. You want that 6th seed. You want that 7th seed. You want that 8th seed so you can get a first round bye and a second round home game on campus. In which we're not going to have these 25-day layoffs from the end of the season to when the top teams play in the playoffs. We're going to have a 2-week gap. That's it. That's it. That's it. We're not going to have this double bye crap that the 16-team playoff that they're trying to push. We're not watering down anything. Watering down the competition? Wasserman, in an entertaining and useful postseason tournament that invite teams that are capable of winning a national title. We invite teams. We invite teams to the basketball tournament that really don't have the capacity to win the title. We have NCAA national tournaments all over the place that are inviting teams that don't really have the chance to win the national title. The NBA, there's teams going in their playoffs that don't have a chance to win. NHL that don't have a chance to win. But football, college football has to be so pure. We can't have blowouts. We only can invite teams that can win. According to basically everybody, except for me, but all the national reporters, Iowa wasn't good enough to be in the playoffs. Iowa wasn't good enough last year to be in the playoffs. No way should you have a playoff expansion that would have last year's Iowa team make the playoffs. Really? Did you watch Iowa beat Vanderbilt in the bowl game? They pushed those Commodores around, and Vanderbilt should have been a playoff team. They only lost to Alabama and Texas. Iowa lost to Oregon by how many? They lost to Indiana by how many? No. This world has completely changed. This college in this year, there's going to be even more evidence of it. I know it, you know it, we all know it. There is going to be some team that's going to drop a couple of early games, and they're going to come in like a freight train at the end of the season, and they're not going to make the playoffs. Like a Miami. But they're just not going to be fortunate to get the playoffs. Or Notre Dame of last year. But I get it. 1 year is not enough evidence. But I feel very comfortable in saying we're going to have a whole lot more evidence this year that a 12 team is just not big enough. And 24 works better than 16. Next thing, Greg will say that Duke should have been a playoff team. Under the format of this year, a 12-team playoff, Michael Smith, Duke is a playoff team because they win the ACC championship game. Under the 12-team playoff format this year, Duke is a playoff team. So if you don't like Duke being a playoff team, that Duke team will take it up with people with the 12-team playoffs. Remember, the 24-team playoffs is 23 plus 1, the top 23 ranked teams, and at least one G6 participant. So you got it mixed up, Michael Smith. You got it backwards. But great for Trojan. I had USC. USC should have been a playoff team last year. Great for Trojan. 12 ain't big enough, guys. It ain't big enough. And 24 works so much better than 20, than 18, than 16. Now, I think Gary Wasserman might be taking a shot at the old fat guy from Minnesota here. Some fans advocate expanding the CFP to 24 teams, especially those from schools that rarely make the postseason. They want to lower the qualification standards again, hoping it will create more opportunities for their school or a Cinderella story. They hold these false beliefs that college football postseason will resemble the NCAA tournament, that 4 or 5 lost teams will suddenly be capable of beating Georgia, Alabama, Notre Dame, and Ohio State in a row. It's much easier to buy into the pipe dream now that Indiana, yes, Indiana, was undeniably the best team in college football, defeating powerhouses on the way to winning the championship. Actually, the moment we expand the CFP to 12 to 24 or more teams, we're opening the door to second-tier teams in the sport. Do you know how many people would have argued that the Miami Hurricanes were a second-tier team when they entered the playoffs? In fact, most of them did. I think it's very difficult to judge who is this second-tier team. Really, really difficult, guys. Really difficult. Was the Texas A&M? Was the Oklahoma? Was the Alabama, were they so much clearly better, a first-tier team, than a Miami, than a Notre Dame, than a BYU, than a Vanderbilt, than a bunch of other teams? So Ari Wasserman goes on and on and on and talks about, we're going to skip some of this part. As the NIL and transfer portal activity continue to grow, we may ultimately end up with 25 or even 30 teams that could win it all. If we do get there, then we should have the discussion of expanding the CFP. We aren't there yet, and we may never get there, which is why making wholesale expansion claims in this moment is ill-advised and frankly wrong. What was wrong with last season? What are we in a hurry to change? A lot of good things last year. Great playoffs. Great regular season. The expanded playoffs did not dampen the value of the regular season. Miami almost not got in. That was wrong. Miami, if BYU would have beaten Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game, Miami would have not gotten in. That's the obvious wrong one. Notre Dame is an obvious wrong one. Notre Dame was a playoff team, guys. You want to see that Notre Dame team in the playoffs. Of course, it just wasn't big enough, and it ain't going to be big enough this year. It's not big enough. It just ain't. And we're going to see what are we in a hurry to change? Wasserman asks this again. Really, what's the hurry? I'm going to answer that question. And again, put down your comments and thoughts, and we'll get to it. But I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it. You know what my thoughts are on it. But why are we in a hurry? I'm good. I'm good with the 12-team playoffs this year. If people need more evidence, all right, I'm cool with that. But this NIL thing, this transfer portal stuff, it ain't going away. It's not going away. If we're going to have the selection committee decide who's in, who's out, 12 teams is not enough. And why are we in a hurry? Because I think, and this does not get talked about at all. I was going to say it doesn't get talked about enough, but I don't think it gets talked about at all. I think we need something that ties us together. Because I do not want to see us split apart. The 2014 playoff does that. It binds us together. And I think we need that in a hurry. I think we need that for the 27 season. I also want to say this. The 12-team playoff was great. It was fun. The home campus games are very successful. The top teams should have a home game on campus. Why isn't the first and second seed, the third seed and the fourth seed, why are they not being able to take advantage of having a home game on campus for what it does for the businesses, what it does for the community, what it does for the campus, what it does for recruiting, the signage, the sponsorship? It's an economic boom. Why isn't the top teams get it afforded the ability to have a home game on campus? You can't do it in a 12-team playoffs. You can't do it in a 12-team playoffs. You can't. In a 16-team playoff, You can. You can do 1 through 16 if you want. You can do a 2 through 15 if you want. But even the ones who are supporting the 16-team playoff, the Southeastern Conference, they don't want 1 through 16. They want the number 1 and the number 2 seed to have a double bye, which is utterly ridiculous. And I say this part seriously and part joking. If you don't like a 24-team playoff, just don't pay attention to the first round. Don't pay attention to the first round. Go take your wife out on vacation. Go take your family out on a vacation. Pick up that book that you've been wanting to read for years. Pick it up and read it during the first week of the playoffs. But you know what I'm going to be doing in a 24-team playoff? I'm going to be having a watch party. I'm going to be having a watch party right here. Right here. 9 versus number 24. 10 versus number 23. 11 versus 22. And we are going to have a Cinderella story. We're going to have a team win the first couple of rounds, which nobody thought they would. We're going to see young coaches get into the playoffs early with a smaller program, and then they're going to be elevated in the years ahead. We're going to be seeing more players have an opportunity to play in the playoffs, to get that playoff money, because the money should go to the student athletes. We're going to see more home campus games, and this can be the ties that bind us together. A successful 24-team playoffs. And I think we need that at this point. All right. Let's get on. We talked about the playoffs. Let's talk about the new bowl season. College football bowl season needs an overhaul. Ross Dellinger, Yahoo Sports. Here's one intriguing proposal. What could be next? For years, one of the college football most popular off-season experiments is answering a question that's lingered since the inception of a 4-team playoff. What happens to the bowl games? That conversation is accelerated given the expansion to a 12-team playoff that likely eventually will grow to at least 16. Do the bowls shift to September as season opening neutral site games? I hope not. Are they all eliminated completely? Are they all incorporated into a bigger playoff field? College football enters its most dramatic offseason in the modern history of bowl games. A revolutionary change to the bowl slate doesn't feel possible. It feels inevitable. Something big is going to happen in the bowl season, guys. Something big. A year-long conversation is nearing its inflection point. The Power League guys must decide what they want the postseason to look like, said one bowl game executive. Does it include bowls or not? The leaders of the bowl conferences have been exploring proposals to dramatically change the financial structure and selection process of the non-CFP bowl games, and at least those tied to the Big 12, SEC, ACC, and Big 10. The non-college football playoff bowl games. Big 12, SEC, ACC, Big 10. In one proposal shared with the high-level administrators, a consortium. Now, this is in one proposal. A consortium of 10 bowl games, each pitting power conference programs, would be created and potentially sold on the open market. with its television rights controlled by the conferences themselves instead of the bowls. Wow. Presumably, these games will be played in existing bowls, but their participants would vary as bowl system untethers from its traditional conference affiliations. Could this mean an SEC team in the Alamo or the Holiday Bowl? What about a Big 12 team at the Citrus or the Gator? What's not to like? 5 teams from each power league get tossed into a bucket, paired together based on attractive matchups, meet in interesting new cities, and make more cash than they currently generate. After all, the top 10 most watched non-CFP bowls last season averaged a rating of 5.8 million viewers per bowl season. That's more than the average ratings of the NBA's Western Conference Finals last season, which produced the champion, the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Consortium plan provides flexibility in matchups, potentially incorporates new television partners, Apple, Amazon, Fox, and at least for the power leagues, limits the amount of bowl options at the time of opt-outs. The conversation about bowl eligibility, 6-6, or return to 7-5, is expected to continue. It's been a long-running discussion. What happens next? The proposal is in the early stages of socialization among college stakeholders, and ESPN, the primary bowl game television partner who has been a part of the proposal itself. So ESPN has played a part of the proposal of the 10-game consortium. That's very important to note. A target for any bowl remake is 2027. This year's upcoming bowl slate isn't expected to undergo major challenges. Now, we do have this college football playoff expansion conversation going on. SEC and the Big Ten disagreement rages onward. In fact, a number of CFP teams may determine exactly what happens with this power conference bowl proposal. If we go to 2014, the Big Ten plan may see very few power conference bowl games existing in the future. But remaining at 12 or 16 paves a path for their survival. So again, I ask you, SEC, Big 12, Big 10, do you want the bowl consortium, or do you want to go to a college football playoffs of 24 teams? That is the question. There is more to the article. You can go to Ross Dellinger. Early in the morning. Do you like the consortium? Do you like that idea? I do. I like it. I got no problem with it if we are going to continue on with the 12-team playoffs. I like the idea. I don't need to, I'm not going to push the idea. I'm not going to rally. We're not going to have the army of 10-game consortium going on here at PATC, but I'm okay with it. I like the fact that the 4 power conferences are working together. ESPN is part of the proposal. They know about it. This has been a year-long discussion. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Go Black 45 says, screw the bowls. They are just as corrupt. When does the current CFP TV contract expire? 2030, 2031. Bring back the cherry, the blue bonnet, the tangerine, the Liberty Bowl. Look, the bowl tie-in contracts, you know how we have them tied to the conferences. That's all done. I mean, we're working on 1-year contracts now. The bowl games for this coming up year, it's just a 1-year extended agreement. So basically in 2027, we don't have any agreement with any bowl games. None of the conferences do. Bimba 75-79. The problem is not the playoff size. It's 138 teams in one division vying for the playoffs. Time to divide the FBS up to 2 or 3. Wow. Chris Brown, I got one person agreeing with me. Chris Brown is 100. Greg is 100% correct. 12 teams is not enough. Okay, we'll open up the phone lines here. Opening up the phone line, 763-260-1333, 763-260-1333. Talk about anything in college football that your heart desires. What do you think about the PATC Big Ten quarterback rankings? Was I way off? What did I get wrong? Heklinski, 18. Childs, 17. Lonigan, 16. Brown, 15. Milovokovic, 14. Joseph, 13. Colandra, Hauser, I'm a leaving on a jet plane, 10. Lindsay, 9. Washington, 8. Beck, 7. Underwood, 6. Williams, 5. Maeva, 4. Hoover, 3. Moore, 2. Julian Sand, 1. That is our Big Ten rankings. We went over them early in the program on why we did the rankings the way we did. Let me know how wrong I got it. It looks like the PATC chat is pretty dead today. Let me check what is going on X. There is more news about the NCAA appealing the Trinidad Chambliss preliminary injunction, which grants him the eligibility for the 2026 season. I posted what the NCAA posted here, and I think it's common sense. In their court, they're trying to get all this overturned. NCAA. Moreover, NCAA members and student athletes will be irreparably harmed in the absence of an interlocutory review. The preliminary injunction provides respondent with an additional year. All right, we'll go over that later.
From
Rick?
Rick, the floor is yours.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Good. How are you doing, sir?
Better than yesterday, and that's good.
Good.
The tomorrow's meeting in at the White House or wherever we're holding. Yeah. All the commissioners will be there, right?
It sounds like at least the 4 Power 4 commissioners. I know a few of the G6 are, maybe all of them. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, but the P4 are.
Yep.
But Is Notre Dame there?
Yeah. Yep.
And Notre Dame is there. Okay.
Yep.
And Cody Campbell's there.
Yep. Yep.
Who is he representing?
I think he's representing his plan and his campaign to repeal the Broadcasting Act of 1961 and the vision that he wants to repeal it.
And who there with him supports that?
I don't know. But obviously there are some politicians who are warming up to it.
Oh, there are politicians who go into any camp.
Yep, yep.
Especially when a billionaire is sponsoring it.
Yep.
But, no, I'm not, I mean, and then there's, like Tiger Woods is there?
Yeah, I think he's going to be there. Bryson DeChambeau is not going to be there, the other golfer. But Tiger Woods going to be there.
In what capacity?
I don't know. I just, this is not going to... Like, the only thing this could possibly produce is an announcement for another meeting. But other than that, we're not going to get anything from this. Right?
Well, that's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah.
It's a round table in an Oval Office for photographs or something. I don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what, when there's so many things that need to be done, why are they doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just going to be, I would be shocked if anything came from it. And I don't think anyone thinks anything's going to come from it. I think it's going to be a photo op, and that's about it.
Will they be talking about private equity? Is there an agenda? Do they have an agenda?
I don't know. It's about saving college sports. It's about saving the Olympic sports.
Oh,
and
it's about
everybody's
that
got their own agenda there, so.
It's about that commercial I saw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I just wanted to find out what was going on. Because if it was important, well, I don't know. If it's not important enough to have an agenda, I guess we'll see what comes about. Thanks for taking the call.
Yeah, you got it, buddy. Appreciate it. Thank you, Rick. I do know this. I do know this. Athletes are not going to be at the round table. No athletes, current athletes, were invited, which I think is kind of not all that smart. But on the other hand, it ain't going to make a difference if they were there. And quite honestly, it would be a good experience for some of those current athletes to do that, take the trip. Be at the round table. But again, how do you even select them? I mean, I don't know, guys. I'm kind of discouraged about that whole thing. I don't. I think we got roadblocks to every possible solution up ahead of us. I don't think we're going to get codification. I'm very down now on that potentiality. CBA, okay, that's going to take having a CBA 5 years from now is going to take about 10 miracles lined up right in a row. And who's to say that anybody would follow CBA rules? So I don't know, guys. I don't know. We'll see what happens. The meeting, the round table is not in public. I would stream it live and we all can make comments about it and joke about it, whatever, but it's not going to be made public. So that is what I was interested in as the host of College Football's Peek Around the Corner. Swarbach will be there with Bavakwa. All right, guys, that's about it. Hour and 16 minutes. Not a whole lot of interest today with phone calls. Did not get any super chats. Did not get any memberships. So not a whole lot of interest in our program tonight. I thought it was a pretty interesting program. We're talking about possible new bowl changes in the season. I think that is quite interesting. New bowl season. And I kind of like the idea. We talked about the Big Ten. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. We talked about the Big Ten PATC rankings. Saying Moore, Hoover, Maeva. We went through the list a couple of times. Did not get a whole lot of comments on the rankings. Maybe there's not a whole lot of disagreement from the PATC family. Again, if you're new to the program, please subscribe, ring that notification bell, share the video. I appreciate you all coming on in. We'll be live tomorrow covering all the live breaking news in college football. Until then, please, you all take great care of each other. Thank you so very much. As always, God, family, Golden Gophers.